Welcome back, sports gamers. It's the Natural with SGO, your #1 source for all CFM tips and news. And they got a huge update out for Madden 16, and including that was one of the favorites we included there. We're so happy about is CFM sliders, XP sliders for your CFM. People been having problems with the XP this year. It's not enough. A lot of people complaining. Thank you to the development team who worked hard to put this into the game. It allows you to choose how much XP that you want your CFM players to get, so the commissioner can go in and change these settings. As you can see, we're doing here now. So I'm gonna run some tests here. So first, to start off, you want to start off with the base. The normal base would be 100. Will be 100 is the normal base, but I want to see what it's like if all the way down to 0. So the first test is going to start with putting the CFM all the way down to 0, and I've simmed through all the way through a whole entire regular season with the team, turned off injuries, and I'm using the Seahawks through the whole entire thing. So we're going to see what kind of XP that you get here, and you can see setting everything at 0 that it's very, very low, very little XP. Of course, no one will run it on this level, but just wanted to see and give you guys as much information and data as possible when I do the test there. So you can see that, you know, Michael Bennett, even the star players, 12 sacks in the season, only get 622 XP. So of course that's not desirable, but like I said, want to give you guys as much XP, as much data and things like that, so you can see and make a decision for yourself. There might be some CFM leagues out there that say, hey, we're hardcore, you know, we want to run. We don't want guys getting much XP, you know, so I doubt there's many out there like that, but I'm just going through, and you can just see here Russell Wilson, Marshawn Lynch. So we're going to keep it the same with the Seahawks all the way through, turned off injuries and trades there in the settings. So just trying to keep everything as consistent as possible. I did not want to sim into the playoffs because that adds a whole nother level of XP and different awards and stuff like that onto it. We all know you get XP for different awards, and you get XP and all the bonuses like that once you get in the playoffs and advance further. So I just want to keep it all the same. So just weeks all the way to the end of the season. I just did the same Seahawks all the way to the end of the season, and I'm gonna go through 0. I'm gonna keep it at the 0 level, at the 100% level, which is the standard default, 200% and 300%, and each step of the way just kind of go through the rosters so you can see each player, and then show you guys what we come up with, and so to better help you decide what do you want to do in your CFM and what level you want to play it at. And so the 0 level, again, like you're going through the rosters now, is very, very little to no XP. One very important note is that in the CFM, the new changes for XP sliders are only available to leagues created after 11/18 or now. Any brand new leagues that started up, unfortunately, the devs did work hard on this, but they were not able to get in that for all leagues. So you can see the 0% XP slider. We targeted specific players: Russell Wilson, Marshawn Lynch, and right outside linebacker right. And you can see the stats that came out there, that very, very low XP. So let's go to the next one. We can set it at a 100, which is the default level, and then you can see everything is 100, offensive XP and defensive XP, and then we can go through the list and do the same thing, and then we can go through and compare the roster to the 0 setting compared to the 100% setting. So this should be the default XP that you've been used to getting, but I just want to keep a base, and just so people can see the difference. And at the end of the video, I can just lay out everything so you can see exactly how it's going to go. And I'm just simming through the playoffs here, advancing to right before the playoffs and stopping, and so they won't have all that playoff XP and stuff like that making a difference in there. And the only thing what I really couldn't control was the type of play or style of play of the coach, whatever, but it's all the same coach, same everything, so hopefully that won't be a factor. But we can see here the XP has went way up. It's a big difference there from the 0 level, and you see Russell Wilson with 4,095 XP, where that was considerably lower in the 600s the last time. And it's going to go through here, and you can see Russell Wilson. And what I wanted to really do is have a quick player, a star player, a quick player, and a normal player, so you can see how it affects each level. So really try to give you guys as much information as possible when we do these breakdowns. And so you can see for Marshawn Lynch, you know, beast mode is heavily used in Seattle's rushing attacks, so you know he's gonna get a ton of carries. And Marshawn Lynch, 5,439. Russell Wilson going all the way through. You can see the numbers just across the board, considerably higher compared to the 0 level of XP that we had it initially in the first one. And so I wanted to keep it the same, everything with Seattle, and I didn't want to have it. And plus, it makes it easy. Seattle have so many stars on there that I can have, you can look through and see a lot of the stars. They have a good amount of quick and star players on the team. So when you scroll through the rosters, you can see the differences there in KJ Wright. He's coming up with the 1,533 experience as a quick player on the defense. I want to have offense and defense as well. You see how, it just make sure it affects the same way across the board. You see Russell Wilson coming through with the 4,095 XP there. And take a look at the wide receivers. And we have Baldwin at 1,493 there, and Matthews 1,608. So just showing it there. Wilson 493, Lynch, Wright, and Baldwin. And just stay for the end of the video. I'm going to go ahead and compare all of them side by side. You can see. So on to the 2,000 XP. Now this is one that's going to be different because this is going to be a higher level than the standard. So this you haven't seen this level XP before unless you got it already in your own CFM. So let's see what it takes to look like for the 200% XP. Marshawn Lynch with a considerably higher amount of XP, 10,208 XP. That's double, pretty much double what he had last time. And same as a star running back. I mean, it's a ton of XP, more than what you used to. So that definitely considerable difference at 200. Let's check out Russell Wilson at 7,723. Last time he only had 495. He's went up there. And take a look at the receivers. And Baldwin 4,064, which is considerably higher. I mean, he had a great season, man. He didn't even break the 200s. So you can definitely see the difference in how the XP increase really separates the average guys and even the guys who win awards and see like Marshawn Lynch, because you really can't just base it upon the highs or the lows. You gotta really see who are the average players, the everyday guys that are further down the XP list and how they're going. Because right now in the current system, yeah, sure, you can build up 1 or 2 guys in the season, but how's the rest of your team looking? How's the rest of your team progressing? And you can see with the increased XP, it allows you to grow and progress your entire team like it was last year, even though last year might have been a little bit too much, but I think they were a little overboard this season and they dropped it too much. So I love that they added this in now, so you actually have the option to control it yourself depending on your own CFM, depending on your own taste. So you can see here there's definitely a difference between the top guys who are winning the awards and stuff like that, and just the everyday guys who are just kind of barely getting by there. So here we have the 200% XP slider. Turns out with Wilson 7723, Lynch 10208. You can see all the numbers here on the screen. It's definitely a market difference between the 100 and even more market difference from 0. So we're going all the way up to 300% max, over 300%. No, actually, 300% there. I was gonna say over 9,000. No, so we're at 300%. So we're gonna test these to see. So I want to do all the sliders and all the positions, so we can go through and you can just see. Like I said previously, you just don't want to look at the star players in their XP. You want to look at the guards, the tackles, the fullbacks, and those unsung positions that a lot of people don't focus on, and see how the XP changes the slider affects their positions as well. So just go ahead and raise it up there, and then go ahead and advance all the way to week 17, and then we will see how the Seattle Seahawks, the 300% XP slider Seahawks look, and the results may or may not surprise you. So let's take a look. Let's go ahead and pull that up and see how the team has progressed. So Russell Wilson at 7,818, which is only slightly better than the 200%, which I was really shocked at. I thought for sure it'd be something around the 13, 14 mark. So it seemed like there'd be a slight cap. It's not like it's going up an exact precise amount versus the other ones, even though percentage wise it should be. There's too many things in the NFL season that can change or be different. You know, even though injuries are off, you know, he could just had not a great as a season. You know, it's totally possible. So let's see Kurtz here at 4,917, and Baldwin at 4,229, which is about very close to his other XP numbers. So it's really surprising this 300% is not as crazy as I thought it was. Now KJ Wright, his is remarkably higher. So 8,298, he is remarkably higher than his previous ones at 3,598 and 1,005. So KJ Wright is higher, but everyone else seems to be not too far off, with the exception of Marshawn Lynch there. Marshawn Lynch was higher, and everyone else was kind of much in line there. So we were surprised to see that Lynch is the only one that was clear. Lynch and Wright were the only ones that are clear head and above their previous numbers. Everyone else was not that far off. So definitely a surprise there, and that's why we do these breakdowns, to see how much of a difference and how, if any, between these. So sometimes sliders don't always work how you think they will, or they don't always make sense how you think they will. Also, one thing of note is that the coach XP, you can see up there in the right hand corner, the coach XP goes up along with the sliders. So when you increase from the 100, 200, 300, you get more coach XP as well. So that's also a factor. When you get in your CFMs, you're able to buy more packages to increase the XP. So that's one thing you have to factor in as well, is people buying packages. So don't just think these are just flat XP in the vacuum there. You have to factor that in as well. So let's take a look at the full breakdown of all of them. And you can see the full layout there from the 0% to the 100% to the 203%, and get a side-by-side comparison. And after the simulation analysis really shows that 200% is approximately across the board 2 times the normal XP gain, and 3,000 is a little less than 3 times the normal XP rate. Even though mathematically and developer wise it may be 3 times, but in actuality it doesn't fully come out to that. Looking at all the players at 300%, most top players earn around 16k XP. The rest were average around 6 to 10 XP for a season for a team that made the playoffs. A non-playoff team, that's also a factor you have to look at. For playoffs and non-playoff teams are going to have different XPs, and non-playoff teams will have a lower XP than a playoff team. As I said previously, coach XP also improves with the higher XP percentages. So you could the accruals can make, if you purchase, it accrues over time when you have other things on there, when the coach is increasing that as well, with those packages. So I don't think, in conclusion, I really don't think it's worth restarting an existing league to change the settings to anything under 200 XP, but it really should depend on how many years the league is going. Leagues that are only 1 to 2 years, it can be more aggressive, going to 250 to 300%. For some faster leagues that advance every day, every 24 hours, or quicker leagues like that, they can even go with a lower percentage, a 150 or 200. So that's just my suggestion there. So really, it's all dependent on your league. Hopefully I've given you enough information, and if you guys have any questions, just go ahead and leave them in the comments, or any ideas or different ways we could do it, or anything about CFM or tips or Madden in general. Let me know in the comments below, and you can always reach me on Twitter or Facebook. And if you did enjoy this video and enjoy our content, make sure you drop a like and subscribe for more. This is the Natural Sports Gamers Online. I'm out.